just can't hold it in. I think we started something, I hope it never ends. I hope it never ends.
Hey guys, Zach and Tracy here with Adventures Messy. We wanted to give y'all a few tips and tricks that we've picked up on boondocking so far, and maybe help you if you're thinking about getting out here. So let's see what we're going to cover.
We will be talking about water storage solutions, how we get our power, how we find our free campsite, also how to stay warm during the winter when it's snowing outside, and
Let me show them like it is now. Look at that. Woo! All right, we're back.
As well as our state-of-the-art leveling system.
Absolutely, I made that leveling system.
Yeah, the state-of-the-art.
Cheap leveling system, but works good. All right, well, here we go. Hey guys, I want to talk to y'all about our water, how we store it, how we get more of it, and how much of it we normally use. When we're headed out to a new boondocking site, that's one of our first considerations, is how long we're going to be there and how much water we're going to need. We've got a 52-gallon tank in our camper, and most of the time if we know we're headed out somewhere for a while, we'll go ahead and make sure that's full. What we also have for once we get out there are these water storage jugs. And these things come in super handy. We've got 4 of them now. We started off with 2, needed a couple more. I'd like to even have more of them. They each hold about 6 gallons. And so if I fill up 8 of them, that basically fills up our freshwater tank. And that's the water we're using for washing dishes, showers, and those are the 2 things that probably use the most for us, the dishes and the showers. But I was going to show you these because I think they're really cool. Top comes off like this and just flips around, goes back on and screws down tight. This acts as a plug but can also be a cap for it when maybe you're leaving it out on a picnic table or something like that and just filling your water out of it. But for us, most of the time when we get these, they're going straight in our tank, and it's not too bad. So this is our freshwater connection right there. And most of the time I just grab these things and the little spout fits right in there, and then you just release the pressure on top. And I gotta do this about 8 times to get our tanks full. So most of the time I try to keep it topped off so I don't have to do it all at once. Wear you out pretty quick.
The most important part about boondocking is getting there. We have our favorite app on our phone, which is Campendium. Now, we have used several other sources like freecamping.net and another boondocking app that we have downloaded. Our favorite by far is Campendium for several reasons. One, it shows pictures of the sites and if they have good cell signal for all the different carriers. It also shows RV parks and dump stations. It has a review section so that you can actually read reviews on that free campsite. They usually tell you what kind of road it's on, if it's a washed out road. Also, if it gets real muddy in the area, it will also have if there's a water source nearby, or if it's next to some really loud train. You don't want that. So there's a lot of good information on that Campendium app. So we love it and we use it every single time.
When I stop looking at you like that. Hey guys, I wanted to show you what it looks like most of the time when I go to get water. Most of the time I'm just taking the van, leaving the camper. And so we've got about 4 of these jugs. They each hold 6 gallons. And I chunk them all in the back of the van and then drive to wherever I found I can get water at. Sometimes it's a gas station, sometimes it's a rest stop. But most of the time I'll just load these up, and I always take a water hose with me the first time I go, because sometimes you'll find a spigot that's real low on the ground and you can't get the jugs under it. So then you can always hook up your water hose to it to fill your jugs. But then after that, I just dump them in the camper. Okay, this is our generator. We picked this thing up at Tractor Supply for like, I think it was like $3.29. It's also the same brand they sell at Camping World, we noticed later. It's a Champion, and it's got 3,650 running watts, which is kind of what you're more worried about than the starting watts. Starting watts just make it sound more powerful. It's 4,500 starting watts. And it's worked great. It's actually got a 30 amp plug right on the front. It's not super quiet. It's a pretty loud generator. But we just try not to run it, or actually we don't run it at night, and try to just run it for a couple hours each day, or as little as we can. But it's worked like a champ so far.
So our furnace in our camper has been not working since we left Lufkin, Texas about a month and a half ago. And since we have 3 kids, we live in a camper. We cannot go without warmth during the winter. So this has been a really great investment. It was $50. It attaches straight to your canister. It heats the camper really nicely. We even have to turn it off on occasion because we're just sweating. It does get really hot on the surface, so we've had to teach our kids not to even go near it. But it has saved our lives many really cold nights.
This is a couple things we picked up right before we went boondocking for the first time. It's basically just a good hitch lock. This actually has a ball that goes up in there and then locks, and this one locks the little opener closer deal, and we actually use this when we're going down the road too. Once it's closed, we lock it in there. I don't think it would ever just fall out, but it makes me feel better knowing it's on there. And we picked this up and a hitch lock actually for the van, to keep the van's hitch locked on, for like, I think it was 25 bucks. It was a package with all of it, so it was a pretty cool deal. We put it on there because we go into town a lot of times, and I don't know that anyone ever would, but it would be scary to come back to your boondock site and your camper be gone. So it just makes us feel a little better. And really, on that topic, we really feel pretty safe out here. Most people, they don't have a reason to come out here unless they're camping or basically doing the same thing we are. And we've met a lot of cool people out here. Sometimes you meet people that want to hang out, want to talk. You know, we'll invite them over for drinks and stuff. It's been a lot of fun. And then other times you kind of find people that are out here to be just left alone. And so everybody you meet, I try to introduce myself to everybody I see out here, but you kind of know pretty quick whether they're people that are out here to escape everybody or if they're looking for friends. But we haven't been real worried about security, but this makes us feel a little better.
Let's talk conserving water. There are a few different ways that you can conserve water. One is to never have your faucets on full blast. Another way is to catch the cold water while you're waiting for your shower to warm up. Just catch that into a tea pitcher and then put it back into your tank. On our shower head, there is a way to control how much water pressure you're actually using. And you can simply turn it all the way, like cut it off without changing the temperature. So it holds the hot temperature, the temperature that you're using, but it just turns it off for a little bit. Instead of waiting for the water to get hot, stop smiling at me.
I'm like, I don't know how I'd say it.
Oh, it's a little family. It's a little family.
I miss them.
Oh, they're playing in the snow.
There's a little cow family playing in the snow.
Yeah.
As promised, we're going to show you our super sophisticated leveling system. With our camper, it doesn't have leveling jacks on it. It didn't come with them. We haven't put them on there. Most of the time, we aren't real worried about being super level. We just want to be close. So we've got the tongue on the front. That gets us front to back. For the side to side, I actually made these before we left. They're super dirty, but they're just 2x6s that I've beveled both the ends on. And so we pull the tires up on these when we're in a real low spot. And I've got, I'm gonna throw them all out here. I've got some different lengths and stuff so that if I need to, under one wheel, I can like stack up a couple of them so that we can ride up on them. So that gives us, that's like 4 inches on one side or the other. And then we'll use them sometimes if we're in a muddy area. We'll actually take and park the back wheel of our van up on top of it, so that if it's raining and stuff, we at least have a good little head start before we hit the mud. And so those help. They've helped us get kind of unstuck a couple times too, so they're nice to have around. So going on 2 weeks of boondocking, a couple things. So going on 2 months of boondocking, there's a few things that we've realized that we'd like to have, maybe little gadgets or just accessories that would make it a lot easier for us. One of them is definitely having a few more batteries, because our generator, what we're using that for is to charge our batteries, and those control things like our lights, maybe our radio if we want to use it. What else? We've got a couple outlets that we can use to charge stuff. And our water pump, and we often run out of battery pretty quick, so it'd be nice to have a few more batteries to add to our battery bank so that we can get some longer life when we do charge it up with the generator.
I have always been fascinated with solar power, and it would make a great addition to our boondocking setup, and we just haven't jumped into that yet, but hopefully we can.
Yeah, it's expensive.
It's more pricey, so we just haven't jumped.
Let's see. I would definitely like to have more water jugs. If I had about 8 of them, I think I'd be a happy camper. I'd be a happy camper. But with stuff like that, carrying the gasoline, carrying the generator, those are all things you don't really want to put in your unit or in the storage compartments, really. We've carried the gas can in the van a few times. It's pretty nasty smelling pretty quick.
Pretty rough.
And most of the time the generator rides about where I'm sitting. So we'd like a rack or something. We really want a roof rack for the van to be able to put all that stuff up there. And then maybe even a rack for the back of the RV to be able to keep the generator on there. That'd be cool. That's about it. We're pretty happy with our setup so far. It's been really cool. All right. Later, y'all. Bye.
Bye.
Get the black. Let's do it.